If there's anything that, as we're going through it, I know that you're muted, but at the end we'll unmute and you can talk to me about, could we do something differently, or what was that, or anything. Please ask your questions. It's, that's the spirit in which this is being done. And also the spirit of which this is being done is to bring some mindfulness. So to the practice, and sometimes that means setting an intention, either for the practice or for your day. And I always loved, personally, I love that. I love thinking about that and bringing that into the picture, because I think a lot of times we just kind of go through the motions of our day and we don't think about an intention. And one of the ways that maybe helps us set an intention is this is a book, and I've read from this book with you. It's the Yamas and Niyamas, and the Niyamas, there's 12 of them, and they're the principles, the guidelines of kind of yogic thinking. Those are the Yamas are Ahimsa, nonviolence; Satya, truthfulness; Asteya, non-stealing; Brahmacharya, non-excess; and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this one, but it's non-possessiveness. Those are the Yamas. And the Niyamas are purity, contentment, self-discipline, self-study, surrender. And part of that surrender is actually gets to nirvana, which is, that kind of yogic term. But we've talked about at least 2 yamas. The third yama is non-stealing. And like those other 2 that we spoke about, there's the word, what nonviolence is, and what truthfulness is, but she really unpacks it. And she says, this guideline asks us to view everything in our possession as something precious that is on loan to us. And for the time that it is on loan to us, we are asked to care for it. So that is really what she's talking about in terms of this non-stealing. It's so interesting. But then she goes on and writes, and I'll just read this paragraph, and maybe this will help you set an intention for your day or for this practice. Not only do we steal from others, the earth, and the future, we steal from our own lives. In all the ways that we impose an outside image of ourselves onto ourselves, we're stealing from the unfolding of our own uniqueness. All demands and expectations that we place on ourselves steal from our own enthusiasm. All self-sabotage, lack of belief in ourselves, low self-esteem, judgments, criticisms, demands for perfection are all forms of self-abuse in which we destroy the very essence of our vitality. All the ways we live in the past or the future steal from ourselves, and I think she means ourselves right now. All the ways we put up fences, whether real or imagined, around our physical belongings or around our mental idealisms. We put up barriers that steal from the full expansion of our own lives. So that concept of non-stealing, living in the moment, not judging ourselves harshly, I just think it's beautiful. And it certainly is true in the yoga practice. As we go through poses, maybe there's like in balance, you fall out of a balance. And I've done this to myself. I'm going, oh, damn, and it's just like, it's play. Just get back into it. It's just, and you learn, oh, maybe if I shift my hip a little bit around that way, it'll help. And that playfulness and that accepting of ourselves in the moment is such a beautiful concept. Non-stealing, Astya, as the third niyama. So let's start right there and let's meet on our mats in child's pose. And you can take your child's pose always as narrow, so your belly is right on your thighs, or you can open up your knees and spread your knees out maybe to the edge of your mat and sink back, and your belly's just sort of hanging there, whichever's more comfortable for you. See if you can get your forehead down on your mat and maybe gently rock it back and forth. Your arms are resting on the mat, and just notice how you feel, where it's tight, and just normal breath in and out. And maybe take this moment and set an intention for this practice. Maybe something you can carry with you through your day. Start your ujjayi breathing, constricting the back of your throat, making the sound of the ocean as you inhale and exhale, and try to do it evenly, same number of counts in as out. Stretch your fingers out, raise your arms up off the mat, making this a little bit more of an active pose. Watch your breath as it comes in and out. Visualize your breath starting in your belly, moving up into your chest and out. Come up into tabletop pose. Notice your forefingers. Are they at 12 o'clock? Are your shoulders right on top of your elbows and your elbows on top of your wrists? Your knees are right under your hips. Make any adjustment that you need. Your toes are pointing towards the back of the room. And come into some cat-cows. Cow, drop your belly, look up. Exhale into cat, arch your back. Cow, drop your shoulders down your back. Cat, exhale, draw your chin in. Really accentuate and swivel your hips. As you exhale into cat. 2 more. Look up. Exhale into cat. Look up. And come back into a neutral spine. Bring your right arm out in front, cupcake your fingers on your mat, and bring your left toes behind you on your mat. Now lift both your hand and your foot up and stretch. Bring your elbow and knee together in a crunch. Extend out on an inhale. Bring elbow to knee in a crunch. Extend out on an inhale. Strong elbow to knee in a crunch. And lower down your hand and your knee back to the mat. Look up for a cow. Look down and tuck for a cat. One more time, look up. Really bring your shoulders down your back and up for cat. Extend your left hand out, cupcake your fingers, bring your right toes behind you. Breathe in and out. And an inhale, lift your arm and your leg up, stamp the wall behind you with your foot. Bring it down. Bring it back up on an inhale. Exhale to crunch. Bring that elbow to your knee and extend out. Elbow to knee. Extend out. One more time. Elbow to knee and hand to mat. Now, if that's too much pressure on your knees, whenever we're in these, when we're on our knees, you can always fold up your mat. You can even fold it up twice and put your knees on a folded mat. So see how that feels. Fold up your mat. Now, as we get moving, that might be harder to do, but certainly in the beginning when we're doing cat-cows, absolutely fold up, take the moment and fold up your mat, and that might make it a little bit easier on your knees. Come down onto your forearms. Lift your hips up. This is dolphin pose. My knees are really bent. My crown of my head is really down on the mat, or almost down. You can try looking up and see if you can tiptoe your feet, maybe just forward a little bit. See how that feels? Maybe back a little bit. So dolphin pose is good. It's kind of a plank. It's kind of a downward dog, but it's easier on the wrist. But it's still a challenging pose. Bring your knees back down to the mat. Breathe in, cat-cow from this position. Another thing you can do in cat-cow, we do a lot of cat-cows because I just love it. I think it really, really wakes up the hips. When you go into cow, you can put your toes flat on your mat. In cat, bring your toes up. So you're actually moving your feet as you swivel your hips. Good deal. Come to a comfortable seated position on your mat. We're going to do some stretching of our shoulders to get our shoulders awake. Let me adjust my screen a little bit. I don't know if you can see that, but my dog's on my bed. Let's see if she's patient this week. So a comfortable seated position. One of the ways that you can get into a comfortable seat is actually placing a block on the lowest setting on your sacrum. See if that feels good. And then doing cross knee. For some people, that feels really good. And that's a way of getting yourself in alignment easier. Or you can even go into a hero's pose, which is where your knees are on the mat and your legs are behind you. So for me, this is a super comfortable pose. And you get your blocks so that your pelvis is tilting forward. So you're not like that. You're more upright. And this is a good alignment. So when we think about good alignment, we're talking about stacking our shoulders on top of our hips, drawing our chin back so that our ears, shoulders, hips are all in alignment, and drawing the crown of our head up to the ceiling, creating a tall spine, and our shoulders are going down our back. So most of the day we kind of walk around like this. We're really working at drawing our shoulders down. So bring your shoulders up to your ears and now draw them down, roll them down your back. And you almost want it so that your elbows are sinking towards your hips. But your head, your crown is going up. Do you see that feeling? That's that comfortable seated pose. And you should be so comfortable that you think you could stay here all day. Of course, you wouldn't, but you feel like that's how comfortable this is. So get yourself shifted around so that you're super comfortable. Close your eyes. Breathe in and out. Follow your breath. Watch it come into your body. Your belly expands, it comes up to your chest, and breathe out. Push it out. Raise your right arm up to the ceiling. Grab it with your left hand. Hinge over. So notice we're not going like that. We're just hinging at our waist. Come back up to center, mountain pose, look up. Grab your left wrist with your right hand. Hinge over. You're just hinging at the waist. So this is a big side body stretch. Again, look up. One more time. Grab with your left and hinge over to your left. Look up, grab with your right and hinge over to your right. Good. Bring your hands back to your knees. Bring your chin to chest. Look up. Chin to chest, keeping your shoulders down your back. Look up. Exhale, chin to chest. Look up. Left ear to left shoulder, not shoulder to ear, ear to shoulder. Look up. Right ear to right shoulder. Again, keeping your shoulders drawn down your back, trying to keep them even. Look up. Again, left ear, left shoulder. And right ear, right shoulder. Now we're going to combine everything. We're going to go down, left ear, left shoulder, look up, right ear, right shoulder. And notice you're inhaling, you're exhaling as you come around, and you're inhaling as you go back. Go slowly and really accentuate this stretching out of your neck. Breathe in as you come around. Exhale. Go in the opposite direction. One more time around. Good. Good job. So we've rolled up, shift around your shoulders, get them kind of loose as we draw them up and down our back. Stick your hands out. You're stopping somebody. Stop. Open and close 30 times fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Shake it out. Clasp your fingers. Stretch them out. Maybe stretch your arm a little bit. Good. Okay, we've gotten ourselves a little bit awake. Come into your first downward dog of the day, or go into dolphin if that's more comfortable for your wrist. Come up slowly, tip back, notice your feet, maybe make some adjustments, and pedal out your feet. Try to bring some of the weight into your fingertips so that you can get some of that pressure off of your wrists and palms. Breathe in, point your toes to the left side of your mat and take a deep stretch, big left body side stretch. Come back up, come high on your toes. Now point them to the right side of your mat and bend deeply for a big right body side stretch. Come back up on your toes, lower down. See if you can get your heels closer to the earth. Meanwhile, where's your sacrum? Bend your knees enough so that it's pointing to the ceiling, and tiptoe, come up on your tiptoes, tiptoe to the top of your mat, maybe 8, 9, come up on cupcake fingers, come up. See if you can stay on your tiptoes and come into a halfway lift, and fold down. And now come all the way up to mountain pose. Look up. Bring your hands to heart. And somewhat belatedly, we'll start practice with an Om. So breathe in and out. Breathe in. Great. Look up and dive down. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Really extend the crown of your head to the wall in front of you and draw your shoulders back. This is super strong pose. Fold down, breathe. Come up to mountain. Dive down. So this action of coming up to halfway, which is really straightening your back, diving down to forward fold, trying to get your sacrum up to the ceiling, and then coming up into mountain. Really draw in your abdominals as you come up, strong, look up, unlock your knees, and slowly dive down again. Really feel what's happening in your body when you make this really kind of basic, simple moves. Halfway lift, step back to high plank. If this is hard, go down on your forearms or put your knees down. So either the knees down may be a better option. And then slowly come back into downward facing dog. And pedal out your feet some more. Step forward, a big step. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Mountain pose. Look up. Dive down. Forward fold. Half lift. Step back to high plank. You can put your knees on the mat. Hold here for a second. Draw your abdominals in. Unlock your elbows. If you want, you can go down halfway in a chaturanga, or just roll back to downward facing dog and breathe. Breathe in, breathe out. A big step forward to the top of your mat. Right foot, left foot meets it. Halfway lift, strong. Dive down, mountain pose, look up, reach up, dive down. Half lift, and step back, high plank. You can put your knees down, breathe here, strong. Your body should be straight. You're not sinking your hips aren't down there, nor are they up there. It's just a straight body. You can actually use your screen and see if that's true. And then draw back to downward facing dog, breathe. Step your right foot forward between your hands. If you need to give your right foot assist to get up there, that's cool. Shift your left foot around so it's at 45 degrees. So you're setting up and come up slowly, maybe into cactus arms to start, because we really want to notice our alignment. Take your time. If you fall out, just come back into it. So our right knee is right over our ankle. It's not caving in, it's straight up, and it's at 90 degrees. Our back leg is really strong. It's digging into the mat behind us. Our hips are facing the front of the room, and our shoulders are on top of our hips. So the way to do this, because this is a pretty big sensation, is to draw your right hip back and your left hip forward. Come up into cactus arms and slowly bring your arms up so your triceps are wrapped around your ears. Breathe here. In and out. Sink a little deeper. Warrior one. Come down, hands to mat, framing your right foot, and step your right foot back into downward facing dog. Breathe in and out using your Ujjayi breathing. Breathe in and out. On your next inhale, step your left foot forward between your hands, or as close to that as you can get. Maybe come up on cupcake hands. Shift your right foot around so that your foot is at a 45-degree angle, and slowly come up into cactus arms and notice how you're lined up. So this is, it's really great to take the time to get it lined up right. Your pelvis is neutral. Your knee is over your ankle. Your left hip is back, and your right hip, you want to try to shift your right hip forward. And your shoulders and ears are all lined up. You're looking ahead. And now bring your arms up overhead, wrapping your triceps around your ears. There's a lot of sensation in this pose. This is this is one of those warriors. Frame your feet with your hands, bringing your hands to the mat, and step your left foot back and draw back into downward facing dog. Good. Breathe. We're going to do warrior one again on each side. So just get right into it and check your alignment out. Step your right foot forward. On an inhale, come up. Make adjustments as you need to. You can even try to scoot the deeper you go in this pose, the better. So you can try to scoot your right foot forward a little bit. Breathe. Get your hips lined up. Hands to mat, step your right foot back, draw back to downward facing dog. Breathe. Step your left foot forward, warrior one. Come around and come up. Slowly inhale, exhale, sink. Now listen, step your right foot forward to meet your left at the top of your mat and come into chair pose. So a couple ways of doing this. You can put a block between your legs, right at the top of your thighs. Your feet are then hip width distance. You're drawing your thighs together using your block as sort of that guide. I don't know what it is. It's a guidance for us. Sink your hips, maybe start with your hands in cactus and then bring them up overhead. Look down, can you see your toes? Good, sink, sink. Come up, good. Remove your block because doing the twist with your block is a little bit tricky. So we're going to come back into chair, bring your hands to heart, and twist right. So I'm hooking my left elbow around my right knee. Look down, is your right knee popping back? Get them aligned and try to stack your shoulders, drawing the crown of your head towards the front of the room. Open your arms if that's there for you. Come back up into chair and then come right up into mountain. Good. Let's try that sequence and we're going to twist left. So let's start by putting the block between our knees. between our thighs. It's right up at the top of your thigh. Your feet are now hip width distance apart. And sink into chair. Maybe bring your hands to cactus. Really draw your thighs together. Bring your arms up overhead. Full chair, sink. Try to see, like I'm looking, I'm shifting my hips around a little bit. Okay, remove the block. And we're going to come back up into chair. And this time we're going to twist left. So bring your hands to heart and now hook your right elbow around your left knee and sink. And maybe open your arms if that's there. Stacking your shoulders as much as you can. Good, and come out of it, come up into mountain, maybe shake out your legs a little bit. Good job. Okay, we're gonna go into a warrior two. So put your right foot at the top of your mat. I keep on trying to, I think I've got to shift this back, sorry. So your right foot's at the top of your mat and your left foot is behind you. Now in warrior two, with warrior one, your foot is 45 degrees. Sometimes in warrior two, we actually make our foot closer to 90 degrees, the back foot, I mean. Really, whatever works for you, but that blade edge of your back foot is digging into the mat. Your right foot is forward, and we're gonna come up into warrior two. Stretching our arms in opposite directions, shoulders down your back, bending into your front knee, coming deep into this. Breathe, sink. Breathe and sink. Straighten your right leg, hinge forward at your waist, and come into Trikonasana. Lower your right hand down, maybe grab your block and place it either on the inside of your foot or the outside. The point is, we want to make our body like we're between two panes of glass, and we're trying to stack our shoulders in Trikonasana. Breathe. Okay, step your left foot forward, halfway up your mat, and we're going to come into pyramid. Go ahead, Candy. So that, oh boy, that foot is halfway up our mat. Take your block, place it on the inside of your right foot so that you can grab a hold of it and try to shift your right hip back and your left hip. I guess your left hip is kind of going back too. So this is a big hamstring stretch on your right leg, and you're leaning and folding into this pose. Now, using your block, shift it around so that it's now parallel to your right foot. Place your left hand on the block and raise your right arm up for rotating triangle or twisting triangle. The very tops of your thighs should be drawing together. Maybe even you can feel the right meet the left. Breathe in, try to stack your shoulders. And slowly come out of this. Move your block. Step your left foot forward to meet your right. Dive down, forward fold, halfway lift. Dive down, forward fold, and mountain pose. Step your right foot back for warrior two, bending your left knee Come into look at your alignment. If you can, scoot your left toes forward a little bit and come into a deeper bend. So you want to sink into this. Arms extend in opposite directions. Look over your front forefinger. And your arms should be kind of parallel with one another, so they're forming a straight line. Breathe in this and sink. Straighten your front leg, hinge forward at your waist, and come into Trikonasana. Maybe you use a block. Or if you don't want to use a block, place your hand on your shin. But importantly, or on the inside of your shin, you want to stack your shoulders. You're making your body really skinny. Breathe into this. Start to come out and bring your right foot halfway up the mat, hip width distance. Maybe grab that block. Now, I find the block very helpful in pyramid pose. As I sink my body over that front leg, my knees are unlocked, but I'm sinking down, drawing my left hip back, breathing, sinking. Shift the block around so it's parallel to your left foot. Place your right hand on that block and raise your left arm up for twisting triangle. Try to stack your shoulders. Try to really draw your upper thighs together. Good. And slowly come out of this. Let's meet on the mat in yogi squat. So your toes can be facing the front, or they can be a little bit facing opposite corners of the mat. Sink down, make a straight spine. So you're sitting up, the crown of your head is really going towards the ceiling, and your elbows are drawing your knees apart. This is prep for crow pose. And crow pose, I don't know if crow pose is in your practice, but it's not very much in my practice, but we can prep for it by placing our hands on the mat, bringing our toes together. My toes are about a foot behind my hands. My hands are really strong. So strength in your hands is so important. You bring your knees into your armpits or close to, and you tip forward. That's just crow prep, and that's as far as we'll go. But that is, when you're doing full crow, you're actually balancing on your hands, but that's just crow prep. So that's for the good of the order. Come up out of yogi squat or crow prep. Come into a halfway lift, forward fold down, mountain pose, and come into eagle. So come into a chair position, sink your hips, wrap your right arm under your left arm and your right leg over your left leg. Flex your toes on your raised foot. If you can wrap it around your shin, cool. If not, just keep it flexed on the outside of your left leg. And the point here is this is a double bind. We're going to sink into it. Bring your elbows up to shoulder height and breathe. Drishti, breath. Come up out of it, shake it out, and come into eagle on the left. So start off in a chair position, wrap your left leg over your right and your left arm under your right. Your palms meet, your elbows come up, and you sink. and come up out of it. Good. Now, let's try going into an airplane. So start by bringing your right knee up to hip height. Let's open it up to the right and look over to your left extended arm. Bring that knee back to center. Maybe you keep it raised and slowly kick back to airplane. Your palms are facing the floor. Draw your pinkies together behind your back and bring that right leg up, stamping the wall behind you. Bend your standing leg a little bit. Up dog in your chest. Bring your foot to the mat. Good job. You know, if that is too intense, you can always just slide your foot back and keep it on the mat and come forward. You're still getting the benefit of that chest opening, because that's really what airplane is. It's a big chest opening. And then, of course, if you raise your leg, even if you raise it an inch, it's bringing a balance into it. The full airplane is really bringing that leg up as far as you can, but do whatever variation works for you. Bring your left knee up to hip height. Open it up to the left and gaze over your right thumb. Bring your knee back to center and slowly kick back into airplane. Like you're going through molasses, slow, deliberate. Little up dog in your chest. Breathe. Drishti. And bring your foot to mat. Good job. Good work. And just because it's so much fun, we're going to do my favorite pose. My favorite pose is, I don't know if it's, anyway, it's half moon. So let's get a block. Blocks are great for half moon. Place it right under your right shoulder. So when your hand goes down, that block, it's not back here, it's not up there, it's right under. And this is kind of like airplane. So we are going to lift our left leg and extend our left arm up. But unlike airplane, you're flexing your toes to the side wall and you're trying to stack your hips and shoulder. And you're trying to bring your leg up so that it's on an equal plane with your torso. So in some ways, you almost want to come up on your fingertips. Good. And come out of it. So here's something to play with half moon. I mean, it's a balance, right? So we're going down. Just watch me for a second. I'll try to do it and not fall out of it. I'm going down and I'm bringing my leg up. And I'm getting set up. And I'm raising my leg up a little bit higher. And now I'm going to try to float my hand off the block. Maybe just for a second, but that just adds a little component to half moon. Okay, let's do half moon on the other side. So we're going to take our block. We're going to put it on the outside of our left foot. And it's going to be right under where our shoulder's going to go. And, this is like any of these poses. You fall out. No problem. When you fall out, it's actually showing that you're going to your edge. So falling out is actually a good thing. Just get back into it. No judgment. It's all play. So left hand goes down, right leg comes up. We're opening up to the side wall. I can see I need to raise that leg a little bit higher and maybe come up on my fingertips. And maybe I can even Flip my hand for a few seconds. Whoa, and we're out, okay? Yay, you did it. And just because it's so good to balance, let's come into tree. So you know there's different forms of tree. Kickstand, which is great. Foot on shin, great. Foot up into thigh, never foot on knee. And look at yourself and see that you're aligned. So this is where alignment's really important. And breathe. Any hand variation. And step down. Good job. And let's just go right into tree on the other side. Whatever you did on the right, try to do on the left. Find drishti. And foot to mat. So if you find, maybe you don't find, you seem like you all do balance just great, but I really recommend as you go through your day to practice balance. And it can be as simple as just raising your leg up and just standing on one leg and noticing your alignment and doing that for a couple minutes every day. That is going to so benefit you as you get older and you don't want to start falling. You want to build that sense of balance. And it's core engagement. Like just lift your leg up. Think about zipping up your favorite pair of pants. Engage your core. Bring a little bit of bend to your standing leg. Just a little bit. And now straighten that leg a little bit. See that little teeny movement? There's so much going on with that. And if you do that for a couple minutes a day, shifting from one leg to the other, bending, standing straight, checking out your alignment, shoulders down your back, that is so good. Just try to do that. Let's come into a little bit of core work, and then we'll do some hip opening, and then we'll start wrapping up. So come into whatever your boat is. Full boat. My knees are always bent, so maybe yours are too. You can grasp behind your thighs. You can place your forearms on the mat. Go down to low boat. Look at your toes. Draw your core in. Come up slowly to high boat. Breathe in. Exhale into low boat. Look at your toes. Come up one more time to high boat. Low boat. Breathe out. And flutter kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Come all the way down. Head on mat. Bring your knees up to a 90-degree bend. Clasp your hands behind your head. Your elbows are out wide. We're going to do 10 bicycles. And in bicycle, you're bringing your shoulder to your knee, not your knee to your shoulder. And you're really using your core, and you're trying to get your lower back on the mat. I know there's a lot going on there. Okay, so we're going to do 1, 2, 6, 'Feet to mat. Good job. Breathe in and breathe out. Rock and roll. So you can do this however you want to, but it's a good back massage into a downward facing dog. Step back, come back, into down dog. Now, if you've got a wonky knee, you're gonna do figure 4 on your back. If your knees are okay, you're gonna go into half pigeon. So I'm gonna raise my right leg back, stamp the wall, and bring my knee to behind my wrist. If your knee hurts, go on your back and go into figure 4 on the right. If you're in half pigeon, scoot your left toes back, come onto your forearms, and maybe you stay here. Maybe this is enough for you. We want to feel this in our right hip, so it's a hip opener. So if you have no sensation, then you may want to extend your arms out fully and place your forehead on the mat. And breathe here. And this is a typical part of the practice where your mind wanders. Try the practice of bringing your mind back to whatever your intention was. And if it wanders, just bring it back. That is what meditation is. And slowly come up out of this. If you're in half pigeon, come up onto your hands. And now come up onto your back toe. If you're in figure 4, just shift out of that and go into figure 4 on your left. If you're in half pigeon, draw your right foot back, any counter stretch that you need. Place your right toes on the mat. Extend your left leg long behind you and bring your left knee to right behind your left wrist. Ideally, your shin is parallel with the top of your mat. Mine is nowhere close to parallel, but that's the ideal. Shift back, scooching your right toes back so that you're sinking into this. Come onto your forearms. See how that feels. Maybe this feels like enough, that's fine. Or come forward, extend your arms out, and place your forehead on the mat and breathe. Your toes, your right toes can be tucked or flat on your mat, whichever works. But you really want to flex your bent foot toes, your bent leg toes. And start to make your way up onto your hands. Come up and swing your right leg around. And if you're in figure 4, let's meet everyone in a forward fold position. Your legs are long in front of you. Remove any flesh from your sit bones. Sit up tall and straight. Draw the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Raise your arms up, look up, and fold over your legs, drawing your lower back towards your knees. You're not rounding as much as drawing your lower back forward. If you can grab the soles of your feet, you can use that as some leverage. On the inhale, extend. On the exhale, sink deeper into the fold. Inhale, extend. Exhale, sink. come back up to a seated position and into Lord of the Fishes pose. So bring your right foot over your left leg. So your right leg is bent, your left leg is straight. Get your left elbow on the outside of your right knee and place your right hand behind you. Sit up tall and look over your left shoulder and breathe. And the same with any fold. On the inhale, you extend. On the exhale, you twist deeper or fold deeper. Now look over your right shoulder. Sit up tall and switch. So extend your right leg long, bring your left foot over to be parallel with your right knee. Bring your right elbow to the inside or the outside of your left leg. Sit up tall, extend your hand. Your palm is open and your fingers are facing the ceiling. Try to sit up tall. Look over your right shoulder now. Extend on the inhale, twist deeper on the exhale. Extend and twist. Now look over your left shoulder. See if that feels different. Good. Come out of it. Extend both of your legs long and find your block and come up into waterfall. So your block goes right under your sacrum and it should just feel like your legs just pop up. So we're in rejuvenation. We're trying to get our blood flow back into our major organs. Make sure your shoulders are flat on your mat. Bring your feet to the mat, remove your block. Extend your legs long. And now draw your right knee into your chest and draw it over to the left for supine twist. Look over to your right extended thumb. Try to stack your hips, even if your shoulder pops up. And switch. Extend your right leg long, bring your left knee into your chest and draw it over to the right side of your body and look over at your left extended thumb. And come out of this. Bring both knees into your chest. Hold it tight, come into a little ball, scrunch up, get really scrunched. And now extend fully into Shavasana. Flop your feet open, open your palms to the ceiling. Close your eyes and rest after your good work. And when you're ready, bring some movement to your toes and fingers and roll on to your side, cradling your head with your arm and into a fetal position for a few breaths. And make your way to a comfortable seated position, whether it's with a block or not. And breathe here. With your eyes closed, bring your hands to your heart. We'll end practice with the way we began, with the sound of one Om. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Om. Bring your thumb knuckles to your forehead and look up. The light in me honors the light in you. We bow together and say, Namaste, Namaste,